Halo 5, a game so bad that even the soyest of 343 fanboys struggle to defend it. Where Halo 4 is a polarising game that split a community in half, with one side warm and receptive to the new change in the franchise's themes and style of storytelling, and the other side being put off by the ham-fisted and poorly executed transition to a new tone and art style, littered with a bunch of crappy retcons, Halo 5 is a game that just left us all feeling betrayed and kinda ripped off, to be honest. Anyone who's only recently gotten into Halo probably just sees it as a mediocre or shitty game that doesn't have much to do with the themes of Halo 4. But for those of us that were there day one, this game just invokes an almost painful feeling of being completely fucking lied to by 343. A company that had already made it as clear as they could that this wasn't your dad's Halo. This is something new, cooler, and better. I think the biggest reason Halo 5 remains so hated to this day almost a decade later is because it could have easily been one of the best games in the franchise. No, I'm not being dramatic. Look, I've already made it pretty clear that I've got no love for Halo 4, but the concept behind Halo 5 just instantly sucked me right back in. Even if there's probably zero chance that they could have actually pulled it off well, but Christ, I would have at least liked them to actually make the attempt. The marketing for this game was nothing short of fucking incredible. You had all these live-action trailers about Master Chief supposedly being dead, with you learning this through the eyes of the public, who all view him in a light almost akin to a hero like Superman, only for you to then learn in another trailer that his death was just done as a cover-up by One to prevent the public learning about something even worse. Master Chief is now the enemy. Why is Master Chief turning his back on humanity? You'll have to find out by playing as a brand new character, Agent Jameson Locke, a Spartan who works not for the UNSC, but answers directly to One, and is deployed specifically to hunt other Spartans. Fuck me man, Locke's premise is so fucking cool. There was even an entire ARG podcast about a journalist who accidentally finds gaps in Chief's backstory and contradictions in the bits that Oni tried to fill, only for him to eventually get too deep and be disappeared by the government. Sometimes I'll find myself coming back to these trailers and just watching them over and over again, and I still get hyped. Almost like I'm subconsciously trying to pretend Halo 5 still hasn't come out yet, and it's any day now that I'll finally get to play this game, the one that was promised to us. But then I'm hit with reality. Halo 5 did come out, and it had absolutely nothing to do with any of the marketing. I don't think the Hunt the Truth ARG is even canon anymore, actually. Turns out, the marketing team had very little collaboration with the people who were actually making this game, and so their interpretation of the game they were marketing was vastly different to the one that Microsoft was selling. Remember how David Ayer's movie Suicide Squad received negative reactions from test audiences, but the more light-hearted and Guardians of the Galaxy-esque trailer got much more of a positive reception, and so the studio ended up re-editing and reshooting the actual movie to be more like the fucking trailer, and it completely ruined the film. Halo 5 is one of the only cases where I think this kind of treatment would have actually had a positive effect, because the story we were promised and the story we got are night and day. Halo 5 was also even more reliant on outside media than Halo 4 when it came to the stuff you needed to know before playing it. Before playing Halo 5, you needed to consume and purchase 3 books, a comic, an animated movie, and a live-action web series. And the worst part is, it's not even because this game is some Infinity War level conclusion to a bunch of plot lines that were built up throughout these various stories. No, you need to read and watch all this shit just so you know the bare minimum about these new characters that the game just refuses to organically introduce to you for some reason and expects you to already know everything about. Even the one guy we've already met before, Buck, has a novel that you need to buy and read just so you understand why he's a Spartan now instead of just being an ODST like he was the last time we saw him. Imagine if Halo 2 just skipped all of Felverdam's backstory and started off with him already being the Arbiter because Bungie assumed you already read some obscure book about him prior to starting the game. Bungie actually hated the books because they felt it interfered with their ability to tell a consistent story through the games. Meanwhile, 343 completely relies on them to do all the heavy lifting for them. Also, let me just run the numbers by you real quick so you can understand how much extra you have to pay if you want to experience Halo 5 the way that 343 expect you to. Alright, so first we've got Halo Escalation, which as of today sells for around £17. New Blood, that's £7. Fall of Reach. On DVD that costs £16, Hunters in the Dark is £9, Nightfall is £4 to rent and £12 if for some reason you want to keep the fucking thing and watch it again, and Last Light is £10. So, as of 2025, it costs around an extra £63 if you want to properly enjoy this already £50 game.
I got you, bitch. I got you. I fucking got you. My rape palace is a tremendous size of which you cannot even fucking envision.
And remember, this is just what you need to pay now. Fuck knows how much you would have to pay when all these things were brand new and selling for their retail prices. Oh, also, remember the Rookie? The main character from Halo 3 ODST? Yeah, he's dead now. They killed him off in that novel New Blood for absolutely no reason. I'm sure that really softens the blow of having to spend an extra £7 on this book just so you can understand the £50 game that you also just bought. But anyways, I'm not going to go into any more detail about this. The game itself already has more than enough problems, so let's just get into those now. So the game begins just like Halo 4 with a cutscene about Halsey that has pretty much nothing to do with the rest of the story and is never explained. Also, God, what is wrong with her faces? Ew! We then cut to Fireteam Osiris. Those characters you paid the extra £63 to know the backstories of, sitting in a pelican as they're about to jump into battle. The only reason they haven't jumped out already is because they literally haven't even been told what they're doing here yet. I know it's mainly been done like this for the sake of pacing and exposition, but Jesus Christ, could you imagine if that's how the military actually worked in real life? Alright boys, the helicopter's about to drop us off at the location in approximately 30 seconds. Anyway, allow me to now fill you in on where we've been travelling to in this chopper for the past 3 hours. Our target is a man called Osama bin Laden. He's the bad guy that was teased in the movie World Trade Center starring Nicolas Cage. We're gonna land just outside his village and sneak into his house and assassinate him. His house's address is number 9 at Tuscan Raider Avenue. He sleeps in the 3rd bedroom to the right. Alright boys, let's go get this son of a bitch, hoorah! So anyway, they jump out of the Pelican, despite us just being told that the plan was to go behind enemy lines instead of what is pretty much the exact definition of being on the front lines. They also decide now is the time to make sure all their headsets work.
Com check.
Comms working fine, Lobs.
Copy that, Tanaka.
Why not plan this when you were about to jump out instead? What if it went wrong? Alright boys, we're just outside the house. I think now is the appropriate time to make sure we all brought our guns with us. So, everybody got one? Yeah. I don't. I brought mine, but I didn't bring any bullets. Also, why are the Covenant back to being enemies with the Prometheans? I thought these guys were both on the Didact's side. I mean, I know the Didact's dead now, but... No, wait, actually, who's in charge of the Prometheans now? Who told them to attack this planet? Who fucking knows? Now, this cutscene is visually very impressive. It's all pre-rendered, which is something I'll never get tired of seeing in Halo, no matter the art style. And it's all done in one uncut shot, which I know some people are getting pretty sick of seeing and everything now. I am too. But for 2015, it was pretty cool and new. The only problem is, nothing about this scene makes any sense. Osiris are here to rescue Dr. Halsey and, if they get the opportunity, kill Jul Mdama. So why are they acting like they just dropped into a game of fucking Warzone and having a free-for-all with all these random enemy soldiers and wasting time? Fuck me, even in the cutscenes nobody plays the fucking objective in the 343 games. Also, and this is something that's going to become very apparent later on, you can really tell the year that this game was released because they pretty much completely ripped off the opening to Avengers Age of Ultron. I mean, even the location is similar. Anyway, after a pretty decent first mission, we cut to Osiris sneaking into Jul Mdama's base, where he's having a conversation with Dr. Halsey. Oh yeah, I forgot that you also need to play fuck-ass Halo 4 Spartan Ops to even understand who this guy is and why Dr. Halsey's with him. So after a cutscene that completely humiliates the elites and turns them into dumb, lumbering bullet sponges, Jul Mdama is killed. You had to suffer through all of Spartan Ops just to know who this guy was, and he's killed off in the first 20 minutes of the game after only appearing for about 2 of those 20 minutes. This is actually a perfect example of what all the homework that you need to do for Halo 5 amounts to. None of the information about these new characters plays any part in the story, but if you don't learn this stuff, then their inclusion in the story just feels extremely jarring and confusing. It'd be like if in Halo 6 Master Chief just has a random sidekick called Mr. Chinky. Now, Mr. Chinky's backstory doesn't add anything to the story of Halo 6, But you probably want to know who the fuck this guy is and where he came from all of a sudden, considering he's been in none of the previous Halo games but is now Master Chief's loyal sidekick apparently. That's basically what Fireteam Osiris are. They're a bunch of chinky. So anyway, Locke kills Jul Mdama and they rescue Halsey. Why is Halsey missing an arm? Ah, Mr. Chinky. We then cut to Osiris arriving back on the Infinity, where Halsey is escorted away while rambling all vague and cryptically instead of just talking like a normal human would. We then cut to Master Chief in a Pelican. Oh, did you catch that, lads? That right there was the only bit of continuation of Chief's characterisation from the end of Halo 4. Hope you enjoyed it, because it's going to be pretty much completely absent for the next 8 hours. Holy shit, you're telling me I paid 50 quid for this game and it's only 8 to 10 hours long? You had to pay an extra £63 to even understand this game, by the way. Also, man, these textures suck. I don't know what it is with 343's texture department, but for some reason they seem to think that metal looks like painted rock and fiberglass. Look at how unmetallic Chief's helmet looks here. This thing looks like it's made out of styrofoam or something. Anyway, these guys who you also paid £63 to know about are getting ready for their mission. Fred says that he's worried about Chief doing exactly what Spartans were trained to do, which is go on lots of dangerous missions. This is then brushed off by Kelly, which means it now never has to be brought up ever again at any point in the story. So, what was the point of putting it there if it wasn't laying the groundwork for a future plot point? Chief then puts the Pelican in park and joins the team in the back of the ship.
Everyone ready?
No wait, Linda, they didn't pressurise the ship yet! Blue team jumps out of the ship, leaving it now without a pilot. Not sure how they're planning on getting back in it now that it's just floating in the middle of an asteroid field. Remember when Pelicans had a Marine whose whole job was to be the pilot so they could drop you off at the start and pick you up at the end of the mission? Why not just do that instead of leaving the Pelican like a mile away with no way to get picked up? Alright boys, good job. We killed Bin Laden. No doubt the Taliban are going to be swarming this location in the next 60 seconds. So, we're going to now run back to the chopper, which Kyle here has parked about 2 miles away. Let's get going boys, hoorah! We get a pretty cool rendition of the Halo theme, which, by the way, did you know the Halo theme doesn't play at any part of Halo 4? So this is at least a nice reminder that, yes, this is actually meant to be a Halo game. Could you imagine if the windows on this space station were actually built with the intention of withstanding heavy impacts and they all just splattered against the glass like bugs on a windshield? So we get yet another scene of the Covenant being treated like an absolute joke. Again, specifically the elites for some reason, despite them being the ones Bungie went out of their way to establish as the most intelligent and honourable species in the Covenant. Okay, as much as I despise Halo 5, I will admit, I actually really like this mission. I'll actually sometimes re-download Halo 5 just to replay the Argent Moon stuff every once in a while. The atmosphere is just so creepy and there's stuff that you genuinely want to stop and take a look at before you move on to the next section. Like there's these containers with dead humans and jackals and scans of the jackals' brains, and hints that there was some kind of virus being experimented on them. This shit is what I would have loved to see 343 do more of with their obsession with making Halo feel more gritty and dark. But unfortunately, this only lasts one level and it has nothing to do with the main story.
The Covenant's war against the Arbiter must not be going well.
What war with the Arbiter? None of this was remotely mentioned in the previous game. I'm just going to assume it was mentioned in the 8th book that I have to buy to understand this game. Chief then gets ambushed by a hunter. Not sure what he was doing behind those boxes. The freak. The hunter causes the platform that Chief is stood on to collapse and he plummets to what looks like a pretty fucking long way down. Jesus, you'd think on a research facility used for testing viral diseases that their safety guidelines would at least include some fucking railings. We then cut to Chief having some kind of vision about Cortana, where she cryptically tells him that
Meridian is next.
How is Chief able to have a literal prophetic vision? It's never explained. And you can't even pass this off as Chief hallucinating either, because he's literally given information that turns out to be correct. Did Cortana make him have this vision? How? Is she magic now? She's an AI, not a fucking ghost. I don't recall ever waking in a cold sweat after having a vision of Grok warning me that Lindsay's going to be the next girl on my estate to get assaulted by a migrant. So after Chief wakes up, he tells Blue Team about his vision and they basically just believe him immediately. See, a competent writer would use this as an opportunity to have Fred be skeptical of what Chief is saying. following on from the concerns that he was shown to have about Chief's mental state at the beginning of the mission. But instead, they just all accept that Cortana isn't dead and she's on Meridian somehow, which is a planet in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. How? Did somebody FedEx a flash drive thing there or something? Also, is it just me, or does this game actually look better than Halo Infinite? As far as I'm aware, except for the first and 2 final cutscenes, all of these are done in real time and aren't pre-rendered. The mission continues and ultimately ends with Blue Team setting the Argent Moon to self-destruct. While this is happening, Chief decides now is a good time to ring up Infinity and tell them that they've completed the mission and are now going to go to Meridian to find Cortana. Alright, first off, how's about you tell them this once you've left the place that's actively blowing up whilst you're having this conversation? Come in, Command. We've killed Osama bin Laden. Me and the boys are about to leave in the chopper. We're thinking about stopping by a McDonald's on the way home. Do you want anything getting while we're there? Big Mac? Alright. You want any extra stuff putting on the burger? No, sir, I don't think they do bacon strips on the burgers here. Chief is told not to pursue Cortana because they've already dispatched a team to deal with her. How do they already know she's on Meridian? Anyway, Infinity Comms tells them to instead just fly back to Infinity, and Chief says, and I'm not exaggerating here, negative. I don't like it. And hangs up on him. Blue Team then give the whole, you didn't think we'd let you do this without us, did you? Speech and join him. Remember, shit is fucking exploding from every direction while they're having this conversation. Fucking run, you fat bastard.
They won't court-martial all of us, right?
Yes, they fucking will. So anyway, they escape not in the Pelican that they arrived in, but in this random ship that just happened to be in the hangar bay. Again, I have no idea what their original plan was for what to do after they finished the mission other than, fuck it, we'll make it up as we go. Back on Infinity, Roland, another character that isn't actually important but requires you to play Spartan Ops to know who he is, has a little Halo 4-esque tantrum about how the military are a bunch of meanies and aren't being nice. And then we immediately move on. The next scene is of Osiris gearing up for their mission to go and bring back Blue Team. I actually kinda like some bits of this scene, by which I mean the dialogue in the first 15 seconds of it.
You're okay with this? Not just another target, you know.
Every target is just another target, Buck.
Yeah. For you, maybe. I love being an ODST. Just point and shoot. None of this gray area BS.
Buck then tells Locke that every soldier is going to hate Osiris when they learn what they're going to do to Chief and Blue Team. Like that scene with Fred earlier, this is just another scene where a character says something that feels like it's meant to be hinting to a future plot point, but it just never comes up again. I actually don't think we even see a single UNSC Marine in this entire game. Osiris then go to Meridian, and I hate the aesthetic of this planet. I think this might be the least Halo-looking level out of all of 343's games. Something about it just looks really off. It just doesn't look like a Halo level. Anyway, we get a whole level where we fight nothing but Prometheans. The Prometheans are probably the most boring enemy faction in all of Halo. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I never really enjoyed fighting the Flood in the original trilogy, but even then they were still more fun to fight than the Prometheans. Also, during all this, Osiris are kind of tracking Blue Team, but yeah, it's fucking boring. They end up going to this mine or something. This is where we encounter quite possibly the least Halo-looking character in all of 343's games.
I am Warden Eternal.
The Warden tells them to fuck off. Followed by some more MCU dialogue that reminds you that this game came out in the middle of the 2010s.
Yep, that was a threat, all right.
Also, I hope you like fighting this guy, because this is far from the last time it's going to happen. After defeating the Warden, they enter this giant cavern section. This is where Osiris encounters Blue Team. Man, I really wish we'd been playing them this whole time instead of Osiris. Anyway, Locke and Chief finally come face to face. This is the moment about 90% of the game's marketing was hyping up, and...
I'm sorry.
That's it. This is the first and only time that these two have any kind of confrontation in the entire game. Also, the fight just looks like total shit. Spartans are supposed to be these extremely agile, genetically enhanced super soldiers, but 343 writes them more like heavyweight wrestlers. The fight's also just way too evenly matched. I know that Locke's supposed to be like some elite assassin and obviously has expert hand-to-hand combat skills, but the choreography just makes it feel more like Chief's really incompetent, and that's the only way Locke's able to hold his own against him. The one positive thing I'll say about this fight is how fucking metal it is, the way Chief grabs Locke's gun out of his hand and just slaps him in the face with it. That is peak Master Chief fuckery right there. So the fight ends with Chief as the victor. Chief then leaves through a portal and Osiris have to escape because the entire cave suddenly begins collapsing as the Guardian... Oh yeah, I forgot to bring this up, there's these things called Guardians. They're like these big mechanical bird kaiju things that Cortana is able to activate somehow. That's basically all we learn about them really. So the Guardian prepares to leave the planet, which causes a bunch of apocalyptic stuff to happen within the vicinity. Osiris manages to make it out just in time and fly back to Infinity. Back on Infinity, Halsey tells them that there's a dormant Guardian on Sanghelios, the elite homeworld. Sanghelios is now ruled by the Arbiter and is currently at war with the Covenant, as mentioned earlier in the game. Lasky says he'll make arrangements for them to get permission to go to Sanghelios. We then cut to Chief and Blue Team as they arrive on some random Forerunner world called Genesis.
What's Cortana up to, Chief? Why'd she bring us here?
Let's keep moving.
God, why is Chief so fucking awkward in this game? I would not trust this man. I think even Mr. Chinky'd be getting a bit suspicious by now. We then come across some dead Covenant, and it's very clearly meant to be a creepy scene, but the fact that all these bodies are just perfectly intact kind of ruins the intended effect. These guys could be sleeping for all you know, because they all show zero signs of injury. We then get their turn to meet the Warden, who just kind of fucks with them for a bit. What happened to...
The other humans are approved for passage.
Why is he now suddenly deciding he doesn't want them getting to Cortana?
She knows your forgotten name. Who you were before you were 117?
Yeah mate, so do we. It's John. We've known this for the past 2 games now.
Do you find it odd? Your trusted companion should keep so much to herself.
She refers to him as John on multiple occasions in Halo 4. What is he talking about? So we end up fighting the Warden. Again. We then have a chat with Cortana over the phone while we walk around doing fuck all until we reach the next objective. Turns out Cortana survived Halo 4 because she got sucked into the domain or something. It's been 10 years since this game came out and I still don't know what the fuck the domain or the mantle of responsibility are. I just care about the Human Covenant war side of things. I really don't care about the stuff with the Foreigners, especially 343's version of the Foreigners. Cortana's plan is to use the Guardians to police different planets and keep them in line. Basically she's doing what Keir Starmer could only dream of doing to the UK. Chief obviously doesn't agree with this and tensions rise, but the mission ends. We then cut back to Infinity, where everybody's gearing up for battle. There's a brief bit of exposition about how Locke once volunteered to assassinate the Arbiter during the first Human Covenant War. This doesn't really go anywhere or play into Locke's characterisation though in any way. What was with that weirdly heroic musical cue for this random elite? You know what would have warranted something like that? Having it be an elite that we actually knew, like the Shipmaster from Halo 2 and 3. You know, come to think of it, why do 343 just refuse to bring back anyone other than the essential characters from the Bungie games? It feels like everyone from the Bungie games stopped existing after Halo 3 and Chief just woke up in another universe at the start of Halo 4, because we've seen next to no familiar faces for the past 2 games. And that isn't going to change in the next one either. Man, I never realised until now how much they fucked up Lasky's face in this game. This might be the first time a CGI character looks like they've undergone Botox. We then arrive on Sanghelios. You know, as much as I hate this game, I have to appreciate how much of a globe-trotting adventure you go on. Especially with how boring and repetitive the next game's going to be. I'll also say I like Sanghelios. It's got a really nice visual aesthetic. Shame we don't get to see more of it. Or be here as Master Chief, because this is where we get to meet Arbiter for the first time since Halo 3. And I do not give a fuck about Locke interacting with Arbiter. I want to see my boys reuniting for the first time in almost a decade.
I saved your life today.
Man, shut the fuck up, you fucking bum. We then get ready to head to Sunayon with the Swords of Sanghelios. As they're arriving at Sunayon, Buck asks Tanaka to say a few words. Oh yeah, this is Tanaka, by the way. She's like a core member of the team, but she's never done anything important, so I didn't feel the need to mention her until now.
Come a long way together. A long way yet to go. Let's make a good jump like we mean to. And handle fools like we need to.
Alright, I know the internet's torn this scene to shreds, but honestly, I don't really think it's that egregious. Sure, it's completely lacking in any charisma or charm, but it don't make me cringe or anything. The gang then land and get ready for action. This next mission's alright. I'm actually weirdly nostalgic for it because I remember playing this specific mission on Christmas Day when I was visiting some family in Glasgow the year this game was released. So it has nothing to do with the actual quality of the level, but something about it now always makes me think of Christmas, which... it's probably giving the game an unfair advantage and I'm being too nice to it, but I don't know. Okay, never mind, this shit fucking sucks. The mission ends with the Guardian awakening and getting ready to leave. Osiris makes it on just in time, but Palmer and Halsey seemingly die.
Oh no! Anyway,
The Guardian arrives on Genesis, the same Foreigner world that Chief and Blue Team arrived at. Only this time, we're on the Guardian and have to run down it vertically whilst fighting Prometheans. This section's actually really neat. I remember thinking this was so cool when I played the game for the first time. We then get off the Guardian and begin making our way towards Blue Team so we can link up with them. It's here where we meet...
Hello.
Man, it is so weird seeing something that actually looks like it's from Halo in a 343 game. So glad they fixed that in Infinite. We then get a pretty fun section with a tank until... Why do you... just fuck off already, man! Osiris finally meet up with Blue Team. However, Cortana decides to just teleport Blue Team up to her evil lair.
Oh no. She should not have brought him so close to her. This will push the Warden past all restraint.
This entire mission is just miserable from beginning to end. I don't care about the Warden, he's not intimidating, he literally just feels like Cortana's rebound trying to make sure she doesn't get back together with her ex because he thinks he's better for her. But you know what would make this even better? How about fighting fucking 3 Warden Eternals all at once? The mission finally ends and we get, ooh, pre-rendered cutscene. No matter how much I dislike 343's art style, even I can admit that it does actually look pretty nice when it's presented in full CGI instead of clunky real-time cutscenes and gameplay. We then get Infinity Warden Eternals, motherfucker! Thankfully, this is just a cutscene and doesn't lead to another boss fight, because Cortana finally shuts that shit down. Not sure why she couldn't have just done this the second they arrived on Genesis, considering they're only here now because she teleported them there. Wouldn't she rather just have Chief and Blue Team be teleported to her immediately instead of having them fight through hordes of Prometheans that I'm pretty sure she controls anyway? Which, by the way, going by gameplay difficulty, they could have very easily ended up just killing Chief while he was making his way to her. So what would she have done then? Also man, 343 really fucked up everybody's face in this game. Even in the pre-rendered cutscenes, everybody looks like they have a Shane Gillis amount of Down syndrome. Another thing, why did they give Cortana the shoulders of a fucking rugby player? I do like this one moment of Chief highlighting Cortana's hypocrisy here when she's talking about how she's
offering people a chance to be more than they are naturally.
Like Dr. Halsey did for me.
I wonder if this was actually intentionally written to mirror what Halsey did to Blue Team, considering that she's essentially copied from Halsey's brain. Then again, knowing 343 it was probably just completely by accident. Cortana realises that she can't convince Chief to join her and decides to lock Blue Team in a cryptum where they'll be put to sleep until after she's finished her work. We then cut back to the diversity hires for the final mission and now they start arguing with Cortana too. Oh yeah, by the way, you don't get to play the main character for the final level of the game, even though he's only been in 3 levels so far.
You were built, not born.
Oh yes, AIs are just machines, aren't we? Mass-produced, disposable.
That's right, you fucking clanker! We then keep fighting and there's this really cringe scene where Cortana just starts shit-talking Osiris and them trying to talk back to her.
Olivia Vale, the little genius girl who only wanted Daddy to love her.
That's Spartan, Vale. And if you're reading my psych eval, you know it takes more than my father to get to me.
He just fucking sucks, man. The final part of the game is this really lame section where you basically just run towards a console while these annoying unstoppable shockwaves keep hitting you every 10 seconds and halting your progress before you can move again. This goes on for like a full minute until you reach the console and just punch the bitch. This somehow frees Blue Team and the day is saved. Cortana then gives a bad guy speech to Infinity. Infinity then books it into slip space, and we cut to Sanghelios. Oh yay, Palmer isn't dead. I'm sure at least 5 people are mildly relieved to know that. Okay, there's something about this scene that borderline makes me fucking furious. Can you guess what it is? Master Chief doesn't even acknowledge Arbiter. Literally, all they needed to have them do was like nod at each other or something, which would have taken like 1 second, right? They didn't need to exchange any dialogue or anything, they could have just nodded at each other, and they couldn't even put that in the cutscene. And I don't care if it says they played fucking Smash Bros together in a book or something after this cutscene, it doesn't matter. This was the first time they'd met each other since Halo 3, with Arbiter believing Chief was dead for probably like, what, 4 years. Any meeting after this means nothing, because it's not the first time they've met since Halo 3 now. So yeah, that was Halo 5. Believe it or not, I still prefer it over Halo 4, but that's just because Halo 4 has both a bad story and bad gameplay, while Halo 5 has a bad story but mostly mediocre to decent gameplay, with a few very short but occasional fun moments sprinkled on top. You want to know what really sucks though? As shit as the story for this game was, it ends on a cliffhanger that sets up a genuinely interesting premise for the next game. And then they just fucking skipped it all. We had to suffer through all that shit for nothing. We had to play through this shitty ass game that was pretty much nothing but build up for an interesting game that will never exist now. Fuck you, 343. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, he's so bad, they call